Welcome back to Clean Tech Talk. Today we're doing something a little different. We're putting a piece of tech on trial that's been around for, centuries?
hmm
And according to all this data,
Yeah.
it's fundamentally flawed. We're talking about the mop.
It's the perfect case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Except all the research is screaming that it is broken. Or, at the very least, incredibly inefficient.
That's exactly the feeling I got. The whole premise here is that mopping doesn't really clean anything. It just rearranges the dirt.
It's a dirt spreader.
Yeah. I was looking at a study, I think it was from the Journal of Environmental Health back in 2019, and the numbers are just stark. They found manual mopping can leave behind up to 40% of surface contaminants.
Which makes perfect sense when you think about the physics. A mop head absorbs water, sure, but once it's saturated with dirty water.
You're just painting the floor with it.
Exactly. You're dragging this
Yeah.
this biofilm of bacteria and grime everywhere. You're not removing anything. You're just spreading it out thin.
Okay, so if the mop is a contaminant spreader,
Well,
what are the usual step-ups? The first one people always mention is microfiber.
and microfiber is interesting. I mean, the material itself is way better than cotton at trapping dirt. The split fibers are designed for it, but it's all manual. It relies entirely on elbow grease. Imagine trying to clean a school hallway or a hospital wing with just a microfiber cloth. The labor involved is just, it's not feasible.
Right, it doesn't scale at all.
Yeah.
So then you've got steam cleaners. I see those everywhere for, chemical-free cleaning.
And for a small kitchen floor or a bathroom, they're great. The heat does kill bacteria, but again, think about a 10,000 square foot facility.
The energy cost alone must be huge.
The time per square foot, it's just not a commercial solution. And that brings us to the elbow grease option. Scrubbing brushes, kneeling on the floor.
Effective for one tough spot, maybe.
But terrible for worker health.
Yeah.
It's completely unsustainable for a person to generate that kind of consistent pressure over a large area.
And I saw a note here about wet-dry vacs. They're common in industrial settings. They solve the removal problem, right? They suck up the liquid.
They solve half of it, the extraction part, but
Yeah.
they're missing the key ingredient, agitation. If you have grime that's really bonded to the floor like oil or dried mud, suction alone isn't going to break it loose. You need friction.
So that's the real engineering challenge. You need to combine the friction of a brush with the extraction of a vacuum and do it fast.
And that's where the professional grade machines come in. The source material points to the Aelith commercial floor scrubber as basically the gold standard here.
Right. Let's break down how it works, because it's way more than just a fancy vacuum. The core seems to be this scrub and recover cycle.
That's it. The machine uses these powerful brushes to agitate the floor, which lifts all that embedded dirt. But the critical part, and this is the game changer, is that it immediately extracts the dirty water.
Instantly.
Practically simultaneously. So the floor is left almost completely dry.
And that just screams safety to me. That health and safety executive report from 2020 was clear that wet floors are a huge cause of slip accidents.
That's the mop's biggest problem, the slosh and dump. You leave a trail of water that creates a hazard for, 20, 30 minutes? With the machine like the Aelith, that window is gone.
And what about infection control? I saw the CDC weighed in on this too.
They did. Their guidance has shifted heavily towards mechanized cleaning for public spaces. It's about removing human error. A machine doesn't get tired, it doesn't skip corners, and it never, ever uses dirty water.
I was surprised to see how versatile it is. I figured it was just for concrete, but it lists tile, vinyl, even sealed wood.
It's all about adjustable pressure and having the right brush. You can dial it way down for a delicate floor or crank it up for a greasy warehouse.
Okay, we have to talk about the green angle. Usually industrial machine doesn't scream eco-friendly, but I was reading about a concept called eco-dosing.
This is a huge deal. Think about a mop bucket. The operator just dumps in cleaning fluid, right? Almost always too much, because we associate that chemical smell with clean.
Right, more bubbles equals more clean.
Which is just waste. It puts all these excess chemicals into the water and VOCs into the air. The Aelith system doses the water and detergent with precision. You use the absolute minimum needed to do the job, no more.
Which has to feed into the return on investment too. Obviously, it costs more than a bucket up front.
Of course. But you save on water, you save massively on chemicals, and the biggest saving of all is labor. The efficiency is just on another level.
So the takeaway is pretty simple then. We need to stop moving dirt around and actually start removing it.
It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? If all the data shows that mechanized cleaning is the only way to truly sanitize a surface, Why do so many of us still trust the clean smell of a mop bucket over actual science?
Something to think about next time you see one of those caution, wet floor signs. And a special thank you to our listeners. You can now enjoy 10% off your next purchase at A-Lith. Just use the promo code ALITH2026 at checkout. That's AIOLITH2D026. Don't miss out.